Hello and welcome to Queer Genius, the channel where we explore the lives and works of the 5 most brilliant and influential queer thinkers in history. Today, we are going to talk about Michel Foucault, a French philosopher who revolutionized the fields of history, sociology, psychology, and ethics with his radical ideas on power, knowledge, and sexuality. Foucault was born in 1926 in Poitiers, France. He was a precocious and rebellious child who excelled in school but also experimented with drugs and suicide attempts. He studied philosophy and psychology at the prestigious École Normale Supérieure in Paris, where he was influenced by existentialism and Marxism. He also developed a passion for literature, especially the works of Nietzsche, Bataille, and Blanchot. Foucault began his academic career as a lecturer in Sweden, Poland, and Germany. He returned to France in 1960 and became a professor at the University of Clermont-Ferrand. There, he wrote his first major book, Madness and Civilization, which traced the history of how Western society treated mental illness from the Middle Ages to the modern era. He argued that madness was not a natural or medical condition, but a social construct that served as a tool of exclusion and control. In 1966, Foucault published The Order of Things, which examined how different disciplines such as natural history, economics, and linguistics organized human knowledge according to their own rules and assumptions. He argued that these systems of thought were not universal or objective, but historical and contingent. He also introduced the concept of the episteme, which he defined as the underlying framework that governed what was considered true and valid in a given period. Foucault's next book, The Archaeology of Knowledge, was a methodological reflection on his own work. He explained how he analyzed discourses or systems of statements that produced meaning and knowledge within a specific domain. He also criticized the notion of the author as the origin and authority of a text, and proposed instead to focus on the anonymous rules and practices that shaped discourse.
In 1969, Foucault became a professor at the Collège de France, one of the most prestigious institutions in France. There, he began a new project on the history of sexuality, which he planned to cover in 6 volumes. However, he only completed 3 before his death in 1984. The first volume, The History of Sexuality, an Introduction, was published in 1976. It challenged the common assumption that sexuality was repressed in modern society by showing how it was actually regulated and normalized by various institutions such as medicine, law, education, and religion. He also introduced the concept of biopower, which he defined as the way that power operated on life itself through techniques of surveillance, discipline, and regulation. The second volume, The Use of Pleasure, and the third volume, The Care of the Self, were published posthumously in 1984 and 1985. They focused on the ancient Greek and Roman practices of sexuality and ethics, and how they differed from the modern ones. Foucault argued that sexuality was not a natural or fixed identity, but a mode of action and expression that was shaped by moral codes and techniques of self-care. He also showed how the ancient philosophers conceived of philosophy as a way of life, rather than a system of abstract ideas. Foucault's work on sexuality was influenced by his own personal experiences as a gay man who lived through the rise of the gay rights movement and the AIDS epidemic. He was also involved in various political and social causes, such as prison reform, human rights, and anti-colonialism. He traveled extensively to countries such as Iran, Japan, Brazil, and the United States, where he gave lectures and interviews. He died of AIDS-related complications in Paris in 1984, at the age of 57. Foucault is widely regarded as one of the most original and influential thinkers of the 20th century. His work has inspired countless scholars and activists in various fields and disciplines, such as feminism, queer theory, critical race theory, postcolonialism, cultural studies, and more. He has also been criticized for his relativism, his nihilism, his lack of empirical evidence, and his neglect of human agency and resistance. However, his ideas continue to challenge and provoke us to question the assumptions and norms that govern our lives. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to check out our other videos.